Path of Exile 2 is on the horizon, and as we inch closer to its release, the excitement in the ARPG community is palpable. But this isn't just about a new campaign or improved graphics. Path of Exile 2 is fundamentally evolving its systems, mechanics, and world building to create a deeper, more refined experience. Today we're diving into the systems that will define Path of Exile 2 and why they promise to reshape the ARPG landscape. One of the most notable changes in Path of Exile 2 is the introduction of its 6-act campaign. While the original campaign spanned 10 acts, the sequel condenses the narrative into a tighter, more focused experience. This is a significant departure from the often sprawling, lengthy campaigns in traditional ARPGs, offering a more streamlined progression without sacrificing depth. The 6 acts are designed to guide players through a series of compelling environments and storylines, each with its own distinct tone and pacing. The campaign maintains a cohesive narrative that doesn't simply retread familiar ground, but rather offers a fresh and engaging storyline throughout its duration. What's particularly compelling is the way the game handles lore delivery. Rather than overloading players with dialogue or cutscenes, Path of Exile 2 uses environmental storytelling and quest-driven narratives that unfold as you progress. These stories don't just serve as a backdrop, they're woven into the mechanics and progression, with important narrative elements directly influencing the gameplay. Moreover, the campaign and world map location will change slightly with each new league. This dynamic approach means that every league introduces new areas or modifies existing ones, keeping the exploration aspect of the game fresh and exciting. Players can look forward to new challenges and surprises as they venture into updated or newly revealed regions, adding a layer of replayability and intrigue to the overall experience. There is a lot more Path of Exile 2 content coming up. It doesn't matter if you care about informational stuff, build guides or spreadsheet. I got all of this covered in the future. If you don't want to miss out on that, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The backbone of Path of Exile's depth has always been its intricate class system, and Path of Exile 2 takes this to the next level. The game introduces 12 new base classes, and within each class, players can choose from 3 unique ascendancies, bringing the total to 36 distinct ascendancy paths. At least that's what we are speculating with. But what does this actually mean for players? Essentially, it means that no 2 builds need ever feel the same, with each class offering a different playstyle and strategic approach. These ascendancy choices don't just add a few passive bonuses, they redefine how your character functions in combat, defense, and utility. For example, a ranger class might have an ascendancy that focuses on high burst damage with bows, while another might lean into traps and mobility, fundamentally changing the way you engage with enemies. And as you progress through the campaign, your chosen ascendancy will evolve, unlocking even more specialized abilities and passive bonuses that allow for deeper customization. For the theory crafting crowd, this level of choice is a dream come true. Path of Exile has always been known for its enormous passive skill tree, and Path of Exile 2's new ascendancy system offers even more ways to personalize your character's journey throughout that tree. Each ascendancy has its own subtree that offers critical branching decisions, making every point you invest feel meaningful. Whether you are building a damage-dealing powerhouse or a utility-based support character, your choices throughout the game will truly define how your character plays. Path of Exile 2 introduces a significant overhaul to its melee combat mechanics, transforming how players engage in close-quarters combat. This comprehensive update aims to address one of the most common criticisms from the previous game: the clunky and often cumbersome nature of melee attacks. One of the standout features of this overhaul is the integration of gap-closing mechanics directly into melee combat. In Path of Exile 2, players now have enhanced tools to rapidly close the distance between them and their enemies. This feature enhances the fluidity of combat, making it easier for melee-focused characters to stay engaged with their targets and sustain pressure throughout fights. This design choice is a game changer for melee combat, reducing the time spent maneuvering between attacks and making combat feel more dynamic and responsive. The developers have also reworked animations to ensure that attacks feel more impactful and are visually satisfying. The overhaul extends beyond individual skills to encompass overall combat design. The game's designers have rebalanced enemy encounters and AI behaviors to complete the new melee mechanics. This means that enemies are now more responsive to melee attacks, making combat more engaging and challenging. The result is a melee combat system that feels more cohesive and intuitive, allowing players to execute their strategies with greater precision and ease. The gap-closing mechanics are particularly important for enhancing the fluidity of combat, as they eliminate the need for constant repositioning and ensure that melee characters can maintain continuous pressure on their foes. In summary, the melee combat overhaul in Path of Exile 2, with its enhanced gap-closing mechanics, represents a major improvement in the game's combat system. It addresses many of the issues from the previous installment and provides a more satisfying and immersive experience for players who prefer close-quarters combat. This update is a testament to the developers' commitment to refining and enhancing the core gameplay experience. Crossbows, on the other hand, bring a completely different dynamic. In most ARPGs, ranged weapons like bows or crossbows tend to be straightforward: fire, reload, repeat. But in Path of Exile 2, crossbows are all about modular functionality. Players can find and swap out different types of bolts, each offering distinct effects like explosive tips for AoE damage or piercing arrows that can hit multiple enemies in a line. This transforms crossbow combat from simple click and shoot to a much more strategic experience where you are constantly thinking about the best type of ammo for each situation. Perhaps the most welcome improvement is the overall fluidity of combat. Path of Exile 2 introduces seamless transitions between skills. In the original, certain skills could feel clunky to chain together, especially in high-stakes encounters. Now the animations are smoother and the systems allow for faster, more intuitive combos. This isn't about speed, it's about control. You will feel more connected to your character's actions, making split-second decisions as you dodge, counterattack, and unleash devastating skills. If you've played the original Path of Exile, you know that the skill gem system is both a blessing and a challenge. On one hand, it provides unparalleled flexibility in how you design your character's abilities, and on the other hand, managing sockets, links, and support gems could become overwhelmingly complex. Path of Exile 2 addresses this by completely overhauling the system while keeping the core concept intact. In the original game, skills were socketed into your gear and players had to meticulously manage linked sockets to combine active skills with support gems. This often led to frustration, especially if you found a powerful new weapon or armor piece but couldn't use it because it didn't have the right socket colors or links. Path of Exile 2 simplifies this process by allowing skill gems to automatically be socketed directly into a menu, but the linking of support gems is handled in a more streamlined manner directly in the menu. And here is how it works. Skills are now attached to this menu, but the linking of support gems is more intuitive and doesn't require you to hunt for specific socket configurations. Support gems are applied to a skill, not to the item directly, which means you can experiment with different support combinations without the same level of gear management hassle. This system preserves the complexity and customization PoE is known for, but makes the process far more user-friendly. The result? More time spent playing and theory crafting and less time in menus trying to configure your sockets. It's a win for both new players who might have been intimidated by the old system and veterans who want to experiment more freely without the old restrictions. Path of Exile 2 approaches boss fights with a focus on tactical depth rather than multi-phase mechanics. Unlike some ARPGs that feature multi-phase bosses with evolving mechanics, Path of Exile 2's bosses are designed around engaging single-phase encounters with the information that is currently available. These fights emphasize skillful play and strategy rather than shifting through multiple phases. Each boss in Path of Exile 2 presents its own set of challenges, designed to test your ability to adapt and execute precise strategies. These encounters are built to be intricate and demanding without requiring players to navigate through multiple phases. The emphasis is on mastering the current phase's mechanics and overcoming the unique challenges presented by each boss's behavior and attacks. What makes these encounters compelling is the variety and depth of the mechanics involved. Bosses have specific attack patterns, behaviors, and environmental interactions that require players to stay vigilant and adapt their tactics on the fly. This design choice ensures that each boss fight remains engaging and challenging, encouraging players to refine their strategies and improve their skills. No ARPG is complete without the constant change for loot, and Path of Exile 2's crafting and loot systems are getting a serious upgrade. While RNG is still a big part of the experience, Grinding Gear Games has introduced systems that give players more control over their gear. Whether it's enhancing an existing piece of equipment or crafting something new, the loot system in Path of Exile 2 offers more player agency. One of the standout features is the new approach to crafting. Rather than relying entirely on random drops or using currency items to hope for the perfect roll, Path of Exile 2 allows for more deterministic item hunt throughout buying specific items in towns. This doesn't eliminate RNG, but it does give players more ways to pursue their ideal build without feeling like they're at the mercy of randomness. For players who enjoy min-maxing their gear, this means the crafting system is both rewarding and less punishing. If you find a great base item but need to modify its stats to suit your build, Path of Exile 2 gives you more tools to do so. Additionally, the loot itself feels more meaningful because you are not just chasing the best stats, you're also looking for items with the right potential to craft into something unique for your build. In conclusion, Path of Exile 2 is doing more than just adding new features. It's building on the foundation of the original game while refining its systems to offer a deeper, more rewarding experience. From the streamlined skill system to the dynamic boss fights, every part of the game feels like it's been meticulously designed to enhance the ARPG experience without losing what made the original special. As we get closer to the release of Path of Exile 2, the excitement only continues to build. The systems in place are complex yet approachable, offering a game that will challenge veterans and welcome new players alike. This is the evolution of Path of Exile, and it's shaping up to be one of the most significant releases in ARPG history. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into Path of Exile systems. Whether you are a long-time Exile or you are new into the world of Rayclast, the future for us ARPG enjoyers looks very bright. Let me know down in the comments below which of these mentioned systems is going to be your favorite or you are most excited about. And if you like content similar to this, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and I'll see you next time.